My husband used to say one thing about me that everyone admired. He would smile and tell people, "She never complains. She understands everything." Whenever he said that, people nodded with respect. They thought I was strong. They thought I was calm. They thought I was happy. But what they never knew was this: my silence was not peace. It was pain that learned how to sit quietly. I learned very early that if I stayed quiet, the house stayed calm. If I swallowed my words, arguments disappeared. If I smiled, even when my heart felt heavy, life moved on smoothly. And slowly, my silence became something my husband praised. Not because he understood me, but because my silence made his life easier. I never raised my voice. I never demanded anything. I never asked why my needs came last. I told myself I was being a good wife. A supportive wife. A patient wife. But patience has a cost. And no one tells you how expensive silence can become. This is the story of how my husband praised my silence, while never seeing the pain it carried for years. I met my husband when I was young and hopeful. I believed marriage was about sharing everything. Dreams. Responsibilities. Pain. Joy. He was kind in the beginning. Not loud or dramatic. Just steady. When he spoke, people listened. When I spoke, I often waited. After our wedding, I moved into his home. A new house. New rules. New expectations. His family was not unkind. They were just used to women adjusting. So I adjusted. I learned when to speak and when not to. I learned how to cook food the way they liked it. I learned to wake up early, even when my body was tired. I learned to smile, even when my heart felt lonely. My husband noticed my efforts. But he never asked how I felt. Whenever I looked tired, he said, "You're strong. You can handle it." And I believed him. Years passed. Children came. Responsibilities grew. My world became the kitchen, the school runs, the bills, and the quiet nights. My dreams slowly moved to the back of my mind. Whenever I felt overwhelmed, I reminded myself, this is normal. Every woman feels this. So I stayed quiet. The first time I realized something was wrong was a small moment. A very small moment. I was sick one evening. Not very sick. Just tired, weak, and aching. Dinner was late. The house felt quiet. My husband came home and looked at the clock. He didn't raise his voice. He didn't complain. He simply said, "It's okay. You don't need to explain." At that moment, I felt relief. But also something else. He didn't ask if I was okay. He didn't ask why dinner was late. He didn't ask how my day had been. My silence was enough. Slowly, this became normal. When I skipped meals, no one noticed. When I stayed awake worrying, no one asked. When I cried quietly in the bathroom, no one knocked. My husband began telling people, "She never asks for anything. She's easy." Easy. That word stayed with me. Was I easy? Or was I invisible? Every time I thought of speaking, I stopped myself. I didn't want to disturb the peace. I didn't want to sound ungrateful. I didn't want to become difficult. So I stayed quiet. As years passed, my husband grew more confident in his life. Work went well. People respected him. At home, I became background noise. Reliable. Silent. When guests came, I served tea and smiled. When decisions were made, I listened. Sometimes I wanted to say, "I'm tired. I need help. I feel lonely." but the words stayed inside me. Once, during a family gathering, someone asked my husband, "How is your wife always so calm?" He laughed gently and said, "She doesn't overthink things. She knows her role." That sentence broke something inside me. Not loudly. Not suddenly. It broke quietly. Like a crack forming slowly over time. That night, I lay awake next to him, listening to his breathing, wondering when I had stopped being seen. One evening, after many years, I finally tried to speak. I told him, softly, "I feel tired all the time." He looked surprised. Not angry. Just confused. He said, "But you never complained before." That was it. Not concern. Not curiosity. Just confusion. As if my pain did not exist because it had never spoken out loud. That night, I realized something important. My silence had taught him who I was. Or who he believed I was. So once again, I chose silence. And he praised me for it. Years later, something changed. Not outside. Inside me. I began feeling empty. Not sad. Not angry. Just empty. I went through the day like a shadow. Doing everything. Feeling nothing. One afternoon, while washing dishes, I suddenly stopped. The water kept running. The house was quiet. I looked at my reflection in the window. And I didn't recognize myself. That was the moment I understood. Silence had protected everyone else. But it had erased me. I didn't confront my husband. I didn't shout or cry in front of him. Instead, I changed quietly. I began taking small moments for myself. Sitting alone. Walking slowly. Breathing deeply. My husband noticed the difference. Not immediately. One day, he asked, "Is something wrong?" I wanted to laugh. After all these years, now he noticed. But I didn't laugh. I said, calmly, "I've been tired for a long time." This time, he stayed quiet. He began noticing the small things. How I paused before answering. How I rested more often. How my smile had changed. One evening, he said something I never expected. "I think I liked your silence because it made me comfortable." That sentence was not perfect. But it was honest. For the first time, my pain was not ignored. It was acknowledged. Today, I still believe in patience. But I no longer believe in silence that hurts. I learned that being quiet does not always mean being strong. Sometimes, it just means being unheard. My husband no longer praises my silence. He listens now. And I speak. Not loudly. Not angrily. Just honestly. If there is one lesson my life has taught me, it is this. Love should never require you to disappear. And silence should never cost you your soul.